Every single time I hear this, I just get so happy.
Makes you so happy. Good morning, everybody, and welcome into That Movie Show, presented by Showcase Cinemas right here on North Shore 1049. Mike Wendt, Liam Stryker, and Bill Neville producing. We are here to talk with you for the next half hour about all things Hollywood and movies.
Oh, so fun.
Now, I guess the big one of this weekend, Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Now, I got my tickets for tonight.
Yeah. So did I.
Okay.
Because
you've been doing the binge.
Yeah. So
if you go to newagencinsiders.com, where our podcast has all our audio and video archives, which we've been doing for over a year. So there's about 64 episodes on there.
Something like that.
Something around there.
The most recent being Casino.
Yes, and we'll get there, because there was a topic we talked about on the podcast that I want to revisit here with the radio audience.
You're absolutely right.
But you on there independently have gone back to Iron Man.
Yes, and I've been rewatching and re-reviewing all of them.
The entire cinematic universe.
Yeah, it's been far more daunting than originally anticipated, but we're working through it.
And so did you complete?
No, not yet.
So you need a few more before you can go out to the movies tonight.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, how many do you need more, roughly?
Like 4.
All right, so you're just going to go see Captain Marvel.
I'm going to go see Captain Marvel.
I mean, you already bought your tickets. You got to go see it.
Right, just because of Stream Pass, man.
It's fantastic. Showcase subscribe. We're going to talk about it a little bit more later on. But one of the coolest features they have is you can buy advanced tickets.
I bought it last week. We got
Me too.
We
signed up.
Yep.
We got our plan, and immediately that was the first thing.
Yeah.
I text my brother. I'm like, next Saturday, you available? Because I'm doing this show, and I want to talk about
next Saturday. You up?
He's you up? And he's like, absolutely, Captain Marvel, let's do it. So I'm like, all right, cool. Yeah. I got the tickets. We're good to go.
Yeah.
It is fantastic. We're going to the showcase in Revere.
Yeah. And it's just so easy. Like,
really?
Like, look, we're going to get into the plugs later. But
this isn't a plug. This is just literally, I was surprised how user-friendly the app was.
Right. And the fact that, the plan that I signed up for is for 2 people, right?
Same.
So, boom, I have the 2 tickets, and I don't have to worry about paying for something and having somebody pay me back.
Right.
Like, it's just, oh no, I got my 2 tickets. Boom, we're there. We're done.
And for less than an actual movie ticket, like $16.95 a month is where the plans start.
Right.
And these do include all of the types of movies, 2D, 3D, X+, IMAX, all of them. And the cool thing, and probably the coolest thing, if anybody's ever used, you get like movie passes or something, for, like your mom gives you you can show us the theater, buy some gift certificates or something.
Yeah.
No blackout dates.
None.
You get Showcase subscribe, and you get no blackout dates, which is why tonight, it's only been open for about 24 hours. Yeah. We're going to see Captain Marvel.
So be on the lookout for the review. We'll have it up probably on newagencinsiders.com, maybe North Shore 1049.
And then next week we'll have to do that.
And then we'll talk about that.
We'll have to talk a little bit more once we're in the know. Once we we won't spoil it for you though.
No.
Because this is going to be one of those movies it's already having a huge weekend, so I think it's on its way to, maybe not Infinity
You probably already saw it, and we're late to the party.
We are. We are late to the party, but you know what? We're busy men.
Yeah.
We're busy men talking movies with people.
Yeah.
Like all of you here on North Shore 1049. So let's jump into it. So we did Casino on the podcast, which you can find at newagencinsiders.com. And at the end of the podcast, you brought up the Irishman.
Yes.
They put the first teaser out at the Oscars.
Right.
It is Martin Scorsese directing, and it's starring Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, Al Pacino, and Harvey Keitel.
Yeah.
Those are the main cast.
Right.
And from what I've gathered, it's another one of those movies, like, when I want to see a movie, I don't want to know too much.
Right.
I don't actually actively go digging for, set photos or blog posts or any of that stuff. No. I want to just take it all in face value. But what I do know about it, because Martin Scorsese has come out, Netflix has come out, because it's produced by Netflix, but also Steven Spielberg has come out since the Oscars. He's come out against Netflix.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that in a minute. So this movie is going to take place, from what I gather, over 4 decades.
Right. It's the story, from what I hear, it's like the story of the assassination of Jimmy Hoffa.
Yes. Okay. Hoffa is involved. I've seen his name a bunch. And
that's the plot of the movie, I guess.
Okay.
Or the synopsis, anyway.
You got me.
Yeah.
I didn't even need a plot.
Yeah.
I just had Scorsese, De Niro, Pesci, Pacino, and Keitel.
Right.
I'm like, I'm all in. And so it takes place over 4 decades. And they're not using younger actors.
Nope.
They're not using makeup. These actors are going to be playing themselves over these 4 decades, and they're going to Industrial Light and Magic, the people that basically created Star Wars,
right?
Or at least helped along the way. And
yeah, they had a big part in it.
They had a big part in it. They were created because of Star Wars.
That is true.
The company ILM, and they're going to do completely CGI and digital aging, either down or up for these characters. Which my guess, and I think you said, what was the budget around?
It's around $200 million.
It's going to probably be revolutionary stuff.
Hopefully.
I mean, that's the hope.
That is an Avengers type budget. So
for a gangster flick.
Right. So it'll be very interesting to see, because you've seen a lot of, Industrial Light and Magic do this kind of work. They basically brought back Carrie Fisher from the dead in order to,
Peter Cushing's.
Peter Cushing.
I mean, she hadn't passed when they made Rogue One,
right.
but Peter Cushing sure had, and they fooled me.
Yeah,
literally
right.
in the theater. I leaned over.
Bill and I had that conversation when we saw that movie together.
I never quite understood the backlash over that. I thought it was a really cool moment.
I thought it looked awesome, and I literally leaned over and I go, "Is Peter Cushing's alive?"
Right. Well, that's what Bill said to me. Bill leans over and he goes,
still alive?
He's like, "Is Tarkin? I thought Tarkin died."
And I'm like, and when
that dude was old in 70s.
I was told no. I'm like, wow, that actor looks just
right.
Like, it's digital. I'm like, wow, like that that got a bigger wow out of me that it was digital.
Yeah.
And then once I knew that, I'm like, waiting for Carrie Fisher to show up at the end.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, oh, this is gonna, and it did, and I don't get it either. I never understood that type of backlash.
I think the backlash
ruined the movie. Did it?
Did
it?
And then if there was another actor who looked sort of like him, and you would have complained that he didn't look enough like
They're
him.
recasting. It's the big thing now
Goodness.
with Carrie
Well, look
Fisher.
at what happened when you had James Earl Jones play Darth Vader.
Right.
Everybody was saying,
Who else did you want?
He sounds like an old Darth Vader.
Yeah, because he's old.
Because he is. That's what he is.
It's like Mufasa is going to sound old.
Yeah, exactly.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. I love that they're using him for that too.
Oh, thank God.
It's so good.
If they're alive, we should use them. You should use Jeremy Irons too.
I agree 100%.
Yeah, Jeremy Irons should have been in that movie.
So what Netflix is doing with The Irishman, because and Steven Spielberg isn't the only one, but I think he's the most prominent one that's coming out against these movies, mostly because of Roma. Now he's been on the crusade for years. But anytime a Netflix or streaming movie gets nominated for more than a few awards, which Roma was up for Best Picture,
right?
He comes out of the woodwork and is like, "Look, they're ruining the theater system and blah blah blah." And here's my thing, because as I mentioned on the podcast, which you can find on NewAgeInsiders.com, I agree to a point with some of his points, because I love the theater experience, and that's not because this is presented by Showcase Cinemas. It's because before we had a show, I loved going to the movies. That's why we have a show, and I love the theater experience, especially now because they've made it so more comfortable. They added the big seats and the better food and the bars in the lobbies and stuff like that. And there is something about the theater experience, especially on movies that you really, really, really want to see.
Right.
That I don't care how big your TV is at home. I don't care how good your surround sound is. You can't match that in theater experience.
No. A movie that is out right now, Captain Marvel.
Right.
Your TV might be a 4K TV. It might be great. You might have, a Samsung or Adobe sound bar or something like that. Something from Bose maybe.
Sure.
And it's going to be great. But there is something to be said about sitting in those chairs and looking at this giant screen.
And being immersed in the sound.
Absolutely right.
There is a difference. I have talked about it on this show. I saw Avengers Infinity War 6 times.
Yep.
Right? And that's what I saw in theaters.
In theater.
Right?
In
and
theater.
I've seen it at least 3 times at home.
Right.
Because it's now on Netflix.
Yep.
And it's an awesome movie and I still love it, but it doesn't feel the same.
Oh, absolutely not. And there was the one that really grabbed me, probably because it was, we hadn't seen it in so long, was Force Awakens.
Yeah.
When that came out, I remember seeing it by myself at the theater, and the first thing I did was I texted my brother, and I'm like, we have to go and see it. Because there was that shot in the Millennium Falcon where you were surrounded by sound, and I'm like, it felt like you were there. And I didn't even see it in 3D. You know what I mean? It was like I felt like I was a part of this. You were engulfed in the movie.
Dunkirk, right? I saw Dunkirk. I saw Dunkirk twice.
Yes.
Right?
Talk about sound editing.
Right, but I saw Dunkirk twice. Once was in the theater when I watched that movie as the director intended.
Right.
And once, as the director definitely intended, on an international flight from China to to the United States.
That nice little 6-inch screen.
On a nice little 6-inch screen.
70 millimeter looks so good on 6 inches.
With some some just bootleg Skull Candy headphones.
Nice.
You know what I mean? And so
Dynamite reference.
Those two experiences of Dunkirk were very different.
I would assume so.
They were very different experiences.
I would assume so.
And so that's been my biggest thing with the movie theater in general is, you can watch these movies on your phone, on your laptop, on an iPad
absolutely.
or something, but it's never going to replace the cinematic experience. And the best thing is, and we'll talk about this at a later date, but just how important Movie Pass is or was to the movie theater experience, because Movie Pass opens the door to the streaming system. For a theater to have a subscription based service.
Okay.
And so now you look at, Showcase and Stream Pass, and now for the same price of a movie and a half, I can see multiple movies a month.
$16.95. You can go see 3 movies.
That's
with
one
Showcase
IMAX
subscribe.
movie.
Right.
Yeah.
And so now
Without food and drink.
Right.
right. And so now you are competing, because where Netflix was winning the media war for a long time.
Because that's always everybody's first thing is, well, it's only $9.99, or now it's whatever,
Right.
$11-12 and something like that.
And so
movie costs $25. Well, not anymore.
Not anymore. And now, I used to, when I was a teenager and I had more disposable income than I do now, I saw literally everything in the theater, because it was like, I got nothing to do on this Saturday.
Right.
I'm going to go see this movie that I kind of sort of have an interest in. Well, now, or recently, years recently. Well, it's
Since you've adopted responsibility.
Yeah, since I've adopted responsibility,
Right.
It's been far more I have to pick and choose.
Right.
Yeah, there's going to be the big tentpole movies that I see, but these other movies that I might pass on because
they come out around them.
Yeah, right. I might not see this movie that released a week before Captain Marvel because...
But now you can.
But now I can. So now I'm going to the movies more, right? And it is a night out, and it is an experience. And I'm, these theaters are putting in such effort to bring you back that, I think it's super, super important that, we don't discredit what Netflix is doing, but the theaters have gotten back into this race.
Right. They definitely have a dog in this race. And as you mentioned, Captain Marvel, which opened this past weekend, yesterday actually.
Yeah.
It's open now. I would highly suggest if you don't have Showcase subscribed, you should get it.
Yes.
It starts at $16.95, and you get 3 movies per month. And there is no blackout dates. That's the most important thing. You can order in advance, as we mentioned earlier, and you can see them in what's called X Plus for Showcase. It's their premium large format screens, and you're just surrounded by walls and walls of sound. And it's one of the many, many reasons that we here at That Movie Show want to thank Showcase Cinemas for being our presenting sponsor here on North Shore 104.9. And so Captain Marvel is out. We're going to see it tonight.
Yep.
I think most people have caught up yet.
Yeah.
That they've seen it. It's made a boatload of money already.
Yeah, of course. It's just,
But and it's the way to see it. The big, that's just it. Bigger screens for movies like this. I'm sorry, bigger's better in a situation like this. Bigger screens, more speakers, and that's what the X Plus has at Showcase.
Yeah,
it has that. They're a large format. They have it in Revere. They have it in Lowell, and it is just wall to wall sound. Big old screens. It is the way to see a movie like Captain Marvel. And the nice thing is Captain Marvel opened up on the first weekend of the month. So if you have Showcase subscribe, you got 3 new movies, and that can be the first one of them.
Yeah.
Only $16.95 to start. And like I said, no blackout dates. You can order early. It is so convenient.
It is. It's very convenient.
How did we watch movies before Showcase subscribe?
I know. Like animals.
Exactly. We gotta wait in line for these tickets?
We watch them like man animals.
It's always like man animals, yeah. I always think of the line from Clerks where they're kind of doing the montage through, and the guy goes up to the car. He's like, What do you mean you have no ice? I gotta drink this coffee hot? we gotta wait in line for tickets? We couldn't just open up this device in our hands and hit a button and get a ticket? Oh, crazy town.
Add it right to your wallet.
But also, speaking of clerks, Kevin Smith has made a little bit of news this week.
Yeah.
Not only was it announced that he will be writing and directing the animated television, the animated streaming show, Howard the Duck.
Yeah.
We'll get to it in a second. But he's also started filming. They're already into the filming stage of Jay and Silent Bob the Reboot. I have seen they've come out with set photos. If you go to Kevin Smith's YouTube page, which is fun for a number of reasons, I have really found an affinity for watching Marvel trailers with Kevin Smith. He's like my favorite comic book buddy now.
Yeah.
But he's doing behind-the-scenes video diaries now.
Kevin Smith is...
He's your spirit animal?
He is my spirit animal.
There you go.
I'm trying to think of the way to say this
spirit animal, that's what the kids say.
Without being the gushiest I could possibly nauseate people that are listening to this. But Kevin Smith is the creator that I aspire to be.
Gotcha.
Produces several television shows that are very high quality, as well as
number of podcasts,
as well as directs and writes films. And he's even written a comic book.
Yeah.
I've seen him live several times doing basically talks about film and stuff like that. And
it's categorized as comedy, but it's a one-man show.
It's a one-man show.
He does Q&A parts to it.
Well,
I went to one at the Wilbur. He did it a few years ago.
So I don't know if I went to that one. I probably did because I go to see everything that man does. But I saw the Road Show from Red State.
That I missed.
So,
I was really disappointed because once I finally saw Red State, I'm like, wow, that was amazing.
Yeah, so I went and did that.
That's so not a Kevin Smith film. That's a Kevin Smith film.
Yeah, right. Oh, it's a good movie.
It's a really good movie.
And then I went and saw him in L.A. and he spoke at the Los Angeles Film School. And that was more like technique and art of film.
He knew who he was talking to.
Right, and so that was very different and it was funny but very informative.
Well, I'm interested to see his take on Howard the Duck.
Yeah.
Now, first of all, I admittedly am not a comic book. Like, I didn't read any of the comic books. I don't know the backstory.
Right.
So my experience with Howard the Duck was that movie.
And it was bad.
That Steven Spielberg put out, speaking of Steven Spielberg, with Leah Thompson and Tim Robbins many, many years ago. I didn't know that the comic book Howard the Duck.
Yeah, he's just angry.
Was Donald Duck.
Yeah, he's just angry Donald
How
Duck.
is Disney not sued? I mean, they own it now.
They own it now, so it's irrelevant.
But wow. It's Donald Duck.
Yeah, he is a very, very B-list. I mean, he's actually like a D-list Marvel character.
Right.
He made a cameo in Guardians of the Galaxy.
He was in the end credits on the first one, and then he was actually in that
the second one.
seedy town, wherever that was. But he was there. I'm gonna be honest. The movie's a guilty pleasure. Howard the Duck, the movie, is a guilty pleasure of mine. I think it's because I saw it as a kid and I thought it was fun and kind of a little bit dirty, but PG-13 dirty.
Yeah, right.
So as a kid, you're watching, you're like, ooh,
this is fun.
This is fun. The duck's cursing, you know what I mean? Stuff like that.
Right.
But as an adult, you're like, oh, okay, I get it. I see what the backlash is about.
Yeah, right.
Now, Kevin Smith being a huge, not just comic book, but obviously Marvel fan.
Yeah. So Kevin Smith.
This is going to be interesting.
This is going to be very interesting.
And it's a streaming series, not a movie.
Right. So it'll be very interesting. He's written several comic books. The most notable one, the one that I like the most, is his take on the Green Arrow. It's Quiver. And Quiver. And it's he wrote for the Green Arrow. It was a comic book series there. So
and he's also directed a bunch of the TV shows. He's done Flash and Supergirl and stuff like that.
So he's done a bunch of them. So he's very ingrained in the comic book world, which is very interesting. And I think he's going to do a great job with Howard the Duck. Right. I also think it's very low impact, right? Because one, it's not a live action show. So it's not going to have the type of like canonical impact that if they were like, yes, this is going to be a theatrical release.
Oh, gotcha.
You know what I mean?
It won't impact the MCU.
It's not going to impact the MCU, so he kind of gets to do whatever the hell he wants.
Right.
And that's great. It's, that's a great little... I'm
looking forward to it. It's scheduled to be on Hulu, which since the Disney Fox merger, it's one of those things that they're like, crossing their I's and dotting their T's at this point, and they just have like it's the next step before they announce, yes, we also own Hulu. But they're kind of loading up Hulu with what seems to be the adult content, where Disney Plus is going to lean more family friendly, which we'll see. Sense. We'll see when the prices come out how I feel about it.
Yeah, it makes sense.
They're going to get my money either way, but I might be happy or sad.
I already have Hulu. Hopefully they change that.
we got about 10 minutes left here on That Movie Show, presented by Showcase Cinemas on North Shore 1049. And while we're talking about Kevin Smith, I want you to quickly run down, rank the Kevin Smith universe movies, not like Red State or Yoga Hosers, but the actual Kevin Smith from Clerks to till Clerks 2, actually. That was the last one. So Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, Dogma, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, Clerks 2. Give it a thought for a second, because I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the Showcase Subscribe. Okay. Again, you see 3 movies a month, starting at $16.95. There's no blackout dates. You can reserve your tickets in advance, which is one of the coolest features.
That's the best part.
That really is. And you don't have to be, in proximity of a theater. It's just you pick your local theater.
That was the worst part of one of the other services.
Exactly. And you can you do it from your home, you do it from the bar, wherever you are. It's like, I want to see a movie, I want to go to Revere, I want to go to Showcase Revere, so you type it in, bing, bang, boom.
Boom, boom, boom.
Pre-ordering. Like I said, I was sitting at the bar the other night. I sign up for my Showcase Subscribe. I get the app. I log in. I bought my Captain Marvel tickets for tonight. That was a week ago.
Right.
In Revere. So, yeah, it's a fantastic service that, once again, starts at $16.95. We highly suggest it. And if you're going to go see Captain Marvel at a Showcase Cinemas, go to see it in X+. Biggest screens, best sound, the Dolby Atmos. It's just they're surrounded. Literally, it's not just surround sound. You are surrounded by sound.
Right.
You know what I mean? They got the comfy seats. It's awesome. It's the way to see a movie like Captain Marvel. The X+ is featured in Showcase Cinema Deluxe in Revere and Lowell. Check it out. All right, Liam. Do you have your list of Kevin Smith movies ranked down? Go ahead.
Yes, I do. I'm going to go with Clerks, Dogma, Chasing Amy, Mallrats, Clerks 2, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, Jersey Girl.
Oh, you're going there, huh?
Zack and Miri Make a Porno.
Oh, that one too.
And then Cop Out is last.
Okay. So you counted some extras in there.
Yeah.
I do like Zack and Miri, though.
Yeah, it's I
rewatched it, and it's a surprisingly it has a lot of heart.
Right.
For a movie you definitely would not expect to have a lot of heart. You'd expect a lot of the usual types of jokes that come with a title like Zack and Miri Make a Porno.
Yeah, right.
But it's kind of a romantic comedy.
Yeah, it's a kind of a little bit of a romantic comedy. It kind of has a little bit of heart. It kind of flexes Kevin Smith's directing muscles a little bit more than you would expect.
Right.
Just because when you look at the Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, Dogma, Jay and Silent Bob movies, those all feel the same.
I'm surprised in these lists how low Clerks 2 always comes, because I laugh hysterically at that every time it's on.
So Clerks 2 is actually the first movie I saw of his.
Okay.
And I love
Well, you're young.
I love Clerks 2. I absolutely love it. This list is always constantly changing because it's like, that dance sequence in the middle of Clerks 2 is just so delightful.
Candy Girl?
Candy Girl one. The Candy Girl one.
It's adorable.
And it's just like, it's a full-blown dance sequence that's just in this movie. And it just tickles my sensibilities far more than Clerks does, if I'm being honest.
Sure.
I think that Clerks is it gets ranked higher on my list just because of
it's first
how important it is, right? It's important for a bunch of reasons. How a low budget independent movie that some guy made by
how much you can stretch credit cards and comic books for a movie.
Right. You know what I mean? Like, it's very important. Mallrats is fun, but it's definitely a sophomore film where it's like, yeah, you did it. Now here's a bunch of money to do it. And it's like, well,
Chasing Amy, he had a story to tell.
Chasing Amy,
he clearly had a story to tell.
Yeah. Dogma is
he had a story to tell.
That's also a big budget feature.
Oh, it's huge.
And it's so good. Alan Rickman, always delightful.
I remember I love Kevin Smith commentary tracks because he gets the whole gang together and has a lot of fun with it. And I remember the opening shot of Dogma was this big, wide crane shot of the church. And in the commentary track, he said, that shot cost more than my last 3 movies.
Yeah.
Combined.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just that one shot. Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. I mean, that's just fun all day. That's bringing literally every character together. That's where we got. That's where we basically got the basis of Good Will Hunting 2.
Right. Exactly.
Hunting season.
Hunting season.
Which, if you go to newageinsiders.com, we have covered Good Will Hunting on the podcast version, and we have expanded Will Hunting's sequel story.
Yes.
It gets weird. I'm just going to warn you. It gets
weird.
a little weird.
It does.
And Clerks 2, I love that movie. I really do. It's a bit longer.
Yeah.
There are moments, there's a 15 to 20 minutes he could probably take out of it, but the laughs just kept rolling.
Right.
Time after time after time. And you can't help but fall in love with Rosario Dawson.
Yeah, Rosario Dawson is
She
great.
was adorable.
Also, the character of Elias is just so funny.
Where did that actor come from?
I don't know. I don't think he's ever. I don't know
if I've seen him since.
I don't think he's been in anything else. He was. Yeah, that was it. That I'm looking at his IMDb right now. That was the last thing he did.
So Elias has to make a comeback in the Jay and Silent Bob reboot, which is filming right now.
Yeah.
It's really, and if you follow Kevin on Instagram, he's already got Brody in there with his little cup.
Right.
Jason Lee is back. They got Brody. They changed their secret stash to Brody's secret stash.
Yeah.
As we ended him, I believe, in Jay and Bob, he was there.
Yeah.
Because at the end of Mallrats, he was hosting the Tonight Show.
Right.
With Shannon Doherty.
Yeah.
As his drummer. And girlfriend met his mom.
Yeah,
I think they
so.
met. I think they met his mom at that point. But I just want to see all of our friends come back together.
Absolutely.
I want to see Brody. I want to see Holden. I want to see Banky. Right. I want to see all these guys come back together. And even, bring Shannon Doherty back.
Why not?
Bring Joey Lord Adams back as both roles.
Yes.
From Mallrats and Chasing Amy.
Yes.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of dual roles in this.
Oh, so many.
A lot of poor Jason Lee's going to have to grow his beard pretty fast.
Right. Because Jason, yes.
Because he's already shooting Banky without a beard.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry. Brody.
Brody
Banky. But anyway, that's just about going to do it for us, isn't it?
That is. I think so.
I like it. I like time flying by when we're talking movies here on That Movie Show, presented by Showcase Cinemas on North Shore 104.9. Thank you all for joining us on this Saturday morning. I hope we made it a little bit more enjoyable for you. I am Mike Wendt, Liam Stryker, Bill Neville. Thank you for producing. And you can follow all of us on social media at Mike Wendt, at Liam NAI, at Bill Neville NAI, and make sure you hashtag That Movie Show. Let us know what you want us to cover, because we do this in podcast form as well by going to newageinsiders.com to get all of our audio video archives. We got over a year of shows banked and more on the way. Next week, I believe we're doing Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Yes, we are.
Because we're doing Vegas month, because at the end of the month, I'm going to be in Vegas.
Yeah.
And there will be a lot of Fear and Loathing.
Yeah.
We're going to hit Casino.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a hangover.
Yeah, a movie that I famously said is better than Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Watch me defend it later this month.
Yeah, I can't wait to see you do that one. You and your army of John Hughes haters.
Yeah.
Well, it's un-American.
It's really funny because we figured it out. We figured out that it's really that I just don't like John Candy.
We did. You know what? We figured that out at the bar. Yeah. And yes, you are anti-John Candy, and we will get into that when we do The Hangover later in the month on the podcast. Thank you all for joining us. We will see you next Saturday right here at 9 a.m. on That Movie Show, presented by Showcase Cinemas, only on North Shore 104.9. We'll see you at the movies.
Bye, everybody.